Welcome to Keep What You Earn, your judgment and jargon-free zone for entrepreneurs of all levels. Get ready to learn how to scale your business, save money in taxes, and create a business that grows your wealth. If it feels like the financial side of business is like eating your vegetables, well, then think of this podcast as the ranch dressing to make the process a little more enjoyable. My name is Shannon Weinstein. I'm a CPA and business owner on a mission to simplify money and empower others through knowledge. I hope this episode inspires you to take action, but remember that the information we share is for educational purposes only and is not individual tax advice. Now that we got that out of the way, let's start the show. So if you've been in the digital marketing landscape recently, you've probably heard this phrase that we use to describe building trust online, especially with a digital business, called know, like, and trust. And what this is designed to mean is you need your audience, your customers, to know you, like you, and then trust you because they know you and they like you. And I was unpacking this with a fellow colleague, and we were talking about know, like, trust. And I was thinking about this and I said, well, what makes somebody trust somebody else? So I started unpacking what makes me trust someone. Is it purely that I know them and I like them? Is the next elevation or the next evolution trusting them? And I said, not necessarily. And no, like, trust, it definitely is like a continuum. It's a linear progression for sure. But I think there's a piece missing. And I don't think trust is purely the evolution of likability. And I want to explain why. So, when we talk about trust, I believe trust is a very simple equation. Trust is relationship plus reliability. And a lot of people focus too much on the relationship side of this equation. They'll say trust is about building a relationship with someone. Trust is about whether someone likes you, whether someone wants to have a beer with you. Like, think of sales. Oh, they trust me because they know I'm looking out for them, because we just get along. They know me, they get me. I trust them because of their expertise, because they're an expert in their field. They're a master, they have experience, right? And experience doesn't equal reliability. I'm going to explain that too. So, relationship is kind of the likability, the personal aspects, the behaviors, right? The things that seem to earn people trust. But I think the biggest component of that is the reliability, which to me is consistency of behavior that demonstrates a commitment. So, the consistency of behavior that demonstrates a commitment. So, when we talk about reliability, it's not enough to be likable. It's not enough to be, somebody that people know and are familiar with and to be likable. It's about demonstrating that commitment on a consistent basis. So, let's talk about social media. If you consistently show up on social media and you're a very likable person, you have fantastic content, you have, a ton of followers, etc., right? You may not have followers who trust you, even if they like you. How do you gain their trust? By, for example, you become likable, you have great content, you also consistently go live every single week, every single day, every single month. You consistently will offer advice. You will consistently answer their questions. You will consistently answer their DMs. This is a big one. So even if it's totally unscalable for you to answer all your DMs, the fact that you are responsive, and I'm talking about DMs in the context of an audience, but this could be answer emails, this could be answer Slacks or team messages, this could be anything. If you are responsive consistently, you become known as responsive, which builds trust. Hey, it's Shannon, and I wanted to remind you that the love language of podcasters is reviews. If you wouldn't mind taking a couple of seconds just to leave us a review if you're enjoying this show, we would really, really appreciate it. Okay, back to the show. My clients, when I look at why do they trust me, and I need to ask them this outright. But if you had to ask me, why do your clients trust you? I said, because I have demonstrated a consistent commitment to taking action to better their businesses. And how you can showcase that in the pre-client relationship stage is offering that free advice, offering that responsiveness, offering that availability of your time. And this goes against what a lot of us learn, especially accountants. Let me tell you a little bit about what they tell us as accountants. They tell us, don't give away your time for free. Don't answer those random DMs. Don't answer those phone calls. Don't answer that stuff. Shannon, why are you posting all that free stuff on your newsletter? Shannon, why are you sending that email out to everybody and you're telling them everything? You're telling them, everything about the BOI report and the 1099s and all the stuff that they have to do. And I'm like, yeah, because they need to know that. Why are you telling them all that? They should pay you for that. No, I'm telling them all of that because I want them to trust that I'm a reliable source and that I want to show up for them every single month with whatever's going on and make sure they know I got you. And same with this podcast. What am I doing with this podcast? And why is it building trust with you? Let's just unpack that for a second. Now, is my intention of this podcast to build trust with you? Yeah, absolutely. Do I hope that you eventually evolve your business and become a client? I would love that. Do I want you to book a power session with me or do the things that I put in our bumpers and our ads? Absolutely. I would love for you to download our free stuff, join our email list, and find out when we're offering power sessions and CFO openings and so on. I would love to work with you, right? This is a business after all that I run. However, there is that twofold approach to trust. Relationships is big for me. So if you feel like I'm somebody you can talk to, you enjoy the way that I share my content, you enjoy the way I explain complex financial topics, which I love to unpack new ways to do, then that's the relationship aspect. You feel like, okay, I'm comfortable listening to Shannon explain this because I kind of understand where she's coming from. I understand her language, I understand her tone, etc. And then there's the other side, it's reliability. Consistency is key. You know that when you open up that podcast platform, you're going to have a keep what you earn episode that you can listen to. And that's really important to me. It is a trust builder in that we have been reliable as a source of this information for you. And not to mention, if you DM me, if you contact me, if you have contacted me, you know this about me. And when we had our text service, you would have texted me and you would know this about me as well. When you DM me, I very often will send you back a voice note. I very often will respond nearly instantly unless I do not have internet on my phone that day. Like if I'm in Costa Rica and I'm out and about. But that day, I'll respond to you. I'm not that important. I also don't get that many DMs right now. Maybe that will change, but I don't get that many to the point where I can't respond to you. And if you have a question, maybe that's something we answer in our CFO on demand community, and I might point you there, but I will at least point you in the right direction. And I will show you that, hey, I don't care if you're not paying me. All I care about is you get a really good, valid answer to this. And that's the difference. So if you're running a business and you're thinking, I really need to focus on building trust with my ideal client because there's not enough people out there who trust me. Relationship plus reliability. And here's the kicker with reliability. The thing that I think most people often overlook is reliability, but that's the thing that takes time. By nature, it takes time because reliability is behavior times time because it's consistency of commitment. So with consistency of commitment, that requires that you are repeating the same behavior to the point where you've established an expectation in a positive way that you are committed. So in order to do that, you must put the reps in. You must demonstrate over and over again that you are worth their trust. And to do that, it's not a one and done thing. Now, for some people, it could be. For some people, you demonstrating one commitment, you determining you're trustworthy because you did the financial equivalent of lifting up a bus to free them for safety. If you're rescuing them from a situation, that's also something that can build trust rapidly. But the best, most sustainable trust is going to come from that long-term behavior and observation. So I would challenge you today, as you're trying to build trust with your ideal customer, ask yourself, in what ways am I developing relationships? But in what ways am I also developing reliability? And how can I enhance the places where I may be lacking a little bit? And maybe as you're trying to figure out why something isn't working, why marketing isn't really clicking, maybe it's underneath one of those pillars. Maybe there's something you can do to enhance one of those that will really move the needle for you. And I hope it does. Okay, so if you've been listening to the show for a while, you know I love talking about profit and cash flow. But if you've mastered these things, the next level thing to be focused on is your customer value. If you have to constantly hustle to sell more and hit your revenue goals, it's important to think about how you can deliver more value, build retention, and maximize the lifetime profitability of every customer. When you invest in a power session, we're able to dive into your customer acquisition cost and determine some personalized strategies to decrease your costs and increase the lifetime value of your customers. Click the link in the show notes to learn more.